Tonight, we are checking the political pulse of someone you may have not heard from in a few years. For 6 years, Republican Congressman Scott Ridgel represented the people of Virginia Beach, Norfolk, parts of the peninsula, and the Eastern Shore. Ridgel is now watching from the sidelines. He recently told me when it comes to his choice for president, the answer is none of the above. Here's why.
Where the Republican Party has gone now, I can't identify with it.
Republican Scott Ridgel sent shockwaves through the GOP in the spring of 2016 when he called on Republicans to vote for anyone but Donald Trump in the Republican primary. Trump won, Ridgel quit, and the rest is the unprecedented history of a president's first term.
I mean, I have zero respect for him as a man. Zero.
Since Inauguration Day 2017, Trump headlines have dominated the 24-hour news cycle. It starts with a tussle over turnout. Days later, Muslims are banned. The FBI director is fired. The Russia probe lands Trump operatives behind bars. And Trump issues a nod to white supremacy in Charlottesville. The House impeaches Trump over contact with Ukraine, and the Senate acquits him. There's controversy over storm response while Stormy Daniels and others come forward with allegations. The coronavirus causes a pandemic, illnesses and deaths soar, while the death of George Floyd at the hands of police leads to protests and violence across the country.
Something's got to give. I don't think we can continue on the path that we're on. We are more divided than I believe we have been since the Civil War.
But don't assume Ridgel's firm rebuke of the president means he's supporting Democrat presidential nominee Joe Biden, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, New York Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and other Democrats.
It's been disheartening to me to see the lack of Republicans who would come out and speak clearly when the president veers off and does something odd or injurious to our country. And at the same time, I'm not giving any slack to my Democratic friends, because I think they've essentially done the same thing with some of the things that AOC and others have said that I think are truly not consistent with our core values or what's made this country great.
Additionally, Ridgel is concerned about Joe Biden's left-leaning politics and his cognitive abilities.
I am not going to vote for Joe Biden. I'm not supporting his position. I think he has cognitive issues. I truly do. And I think they've increased over the last couple of years. Even if he does win, I join those who don't think he's going to be president, perhaps even through his first term.
Ridgel declared himself an independent and announced he is not voting for Trump or Biden.
I'll just go on record. I'm writing somebody in.
Now, the interview was conducted before we learned the president and the first lady have COVID-19. Scott Ridgel, the independent, told 10 on Your Side, quoting here, "I join former Vice President Joe Biden in offering my prayers and support for a full recovery for the president, the first lady, and their staff." In the 2nd District, Republican Scott Taylor is trying to recapture the seat he lost to Democrat Elaine Luria 2 years ago.